The movie opens with our lead character, Oh Dae-soo, grabbing a man by his tie on the edge of a tall building, forcing him to listen to his story. Oh Dae-soo is detained in a police station for drunk and disorderly conduct. His friend Ju-hwan bails him out, promising that he will not execute such behaviors again. Before going home, he calls his daughter Yoon-hee and wishes her birthday, and also tells her that he is going to bring her present which he bought for her birthday. While Ju-hwan starts talking to Yoon-hee, he notices that Oh Dae-soo is gone with the present he bought for his daughter abandoned on the side of the road. The story now shifts in a locked room with Oh Dae-soo on it, constantly asking why he was there. He is given food through a small metal door, same as in a prison cell. He constantly tries to get attention of the people who gives him food by grabbing them by their legs, but nobody talks to him nor tells him anything. He is gassed occasionally to be given haircut and trimming. He finds out on the television that he is suspected murderer for his wife, Mrs. Kim Ja-hyun. As time passes, we see him getting more and more delusional, and tries to kill himself multiple times, as well as he could not bear the loneliness. He writes names of all the people started getting fit by practicing punches and even numbering the years that went by on his hand. With the help of a chopstick, he was able to penetrate through the wall throughout the years, and even was able to put his hands through. It was raining, so he was very happy to taste the rain. 15 years after being captive, we see him getting out of a big suitcase on the top of a building. It seems like he was released fully suited and with his name journals as well. He could not believe for a second and took some time to understand that he was released. The man with his dog wanted to commit suicide and asks him not to stop him. This is the scene where the movie originally began from, and Oh Dae-soo asks the guy to listen to his story first. After telling his story, Oh Dae-soo leaves the roof, and we see him jumping from the roof on the parked car. Oh Dae-soo is constantly thinking about his next move, as he has been out after 15 years. There is no place he can go to. He stumbles upon street boys and takes off a cigarette from the guy's mouth and starts smoking. Since he smoked after a long time, he enjoys it, even after getting punched. He thinks of putting his training to use with the guys and gets successful in beating them all. Later on, an unknown guy walks up to him and hands him a phone and a wallet full with money inside of it. The guy tells Oh Dae-soo not to ask anything as he does not know anything regarding this and walks off. Oh Dae-soo then goes to a sushi restaurant and meets Mi-do and asks for a living thing as he wants to eat something that's alive. Suddenly, the phone rings and he picks up the phone without wasting a second. Oh Dae-soo asks who is on the other end. The guy taunts by asking him if he likes his new suit. He asks why he was held captive and receives the answer that he needs to reflect on his past to find the answer. Before ending the call, the guy says that he will be waiting for Oh Dae-soo. Mi-do brings the baby octopus as requested by him, so Oh Dae-soo grabs the octopus by hand and starts eating it in anger. Mi-do gets impressed and touches his hand to comfort Oh Dae-soo, but he passes out on the table with octopus still in his mouth. The story then opens to an apartment with Oh Dae-soo and Mi-do. While Mi-do is getting emotional reading journals of Oh Dae-soo, Mi-do goes to bathroom with a knife in her hand, saying Oh Dae-soo to not get any ideas as the bathroom door is broken. He does exactly what he was told off not to do, and tries to get physical with her while she is using the bathroom. Mi-do hits him in his head. He fails and goes out with embarrassment and starts wearing clothes so that he could get out of there. She calms him down and promises him by saying that she will go through it when she feels ready. Mi-do agrees to help Oh Dae-soo finding his daughter, and we find out that Oh Dae-soo's daughter was adopted by Swedish. Oh Dae-soo realizes that he can only have his life back once he settles the score with his captive. He only has one clue, which is the dumpling which was given to him day in day out, while for his 15 years of captivity. After visiting a bunch of restaurants, Oh Dae finally finds the restaurant named Violet Blue Dragon, which served the ex-cat same one. He follows the delivery guy to a building where he is taking the food and realizes that was the building where he was kept for all these years. He then attacks the guard on duty and proceeds to the manager's Mr. Park room where he sees all the screens of the rooms of people in captivity. Oh Dae-soo straps him to the chair and asks for the information. The manager says that he does not know the person, but he has recording that can give information regarding the guy. He then takes the footage and tries to get out of there but gets blocked by his workers. Everyone has metal rods, knife, or hammer in their hands. He fights with his might and does not give up even when Git gets stabbed in his back. He becomes successful in beating almost all of them and gets out of there. He almost passes out on streets when he is helped by a guy and puts him in a cab. Before leaving, the guy says goodbye Oh Dae-soo and smiles, hinting he is the one behind all this. The scene now cuts on the apartment where Mi-do has passed out, putting bandages on Odesu. Odesu puts on the recorder from the conversation that happened between his captive and Mr. Park. They have conversation regarding the time he needs to be kept in captivity, and also make sure that he is being given a particular medicine so that he does not have schizophrenia. Next day, he visits his friend Ju Huan in a cafe and asks for help in recognizing the voice in the recording. He then opens up the chat room of Mido to find out more about the guy Evergreen, who Mido used to talk constantly about sushi. There were a lot of unspecified and unclear messages which makes him think that Mido might be involved. He ties her down and starts confronting her about this Evergreen guy. While doing this, he finds out about the address of this Evergreen guy from his friend to be next to Mido's apartment building. He runs out into the given address building and see that same guy from before who helped Odesu, and his bodyguard named Mr. Han is there. Mr. Evergreen tells Odesu to find out who he was before asking why. Odesu tries to kill him, but he is stopped by his bodyguard. He says if Odesu does that, he will never know why he was held captive. Plus, he has a pacemaker in his heart which can be stopped by his will with a button, so there will be no closure to Odesu if he kills him. The guy gives him ultimatum of 5 days to find out why this was done to Odesu and even promises to take his own life if he succeeds in doing so. While leaving the room, he warns Odesu about Mido being trapped for a long time. So he returns back to her apartment where he sees the manager Mr. Park and his associates physically abusing her. The associates hold him down, and Mr. Park tries to take Odesu's teeth with a hammer, same as he did to Mr. Park. Suddenly, a phone call from Mr. Evergreen interrupts the drama as he is offered a suitcase full of money brought to them by Mr. Han. Later on, Odesu and Mido leave the apartment and stay the night in a motel. They get intimate with each other and sleep the night. The room is later on gassed by Mr. Evergreen, and he comes to have a look at them laying in bed with each other. He leaves a present for them to discover in the morning. The present was the hand of Mr. Park, which Odesu promised would cut off from him for touching Mido last night. Odesu realizes that he might be bugged, so he gets all the bugs removed. His clothings. Later on, when they search the internet for Evergreen, they find Sangnok High School, which is the same school Odesu went in. While checking the Class of 79 book, he finds Mr. Evergreen as Lee Woo-jin. He starts studying the guy for any clues he can find. He got to know about Lee Soo-ah, who used to study with them on same class. Odesu got to know about Lee Soo-ah dying by falling from a river, but he already moved school by the time this happened. Later on, his friend Ju Huan tells Odesu that she was a slut, and she used to sleep around with everyone in school. Unfortunately, Lee Woo-jin was there in his cafe when he was saying all this to Odesu. Mr. Evergreen got offended and kills Ju Huan. After killing Ju Huan, Lee Woo-jin tells Odesu that she was his sister, and she was not like that. Odesu calls Mr. Park and asks for help to keep Mido in the same room where he was kept as captive. Mr. Park agrees to do so, as they both have same enemy. Odesu tries to find more about Lee Soo-ah by visiting some of the friends from the batch and find out that she was a good girl. Later on, he remembers that he actually knew the girl and had seen her and her brother in intimate acts and shared this information to Ju Huan. Odesu realizes he might have been the one who started this rumor. Odesu shares this information with Mido and says he is going to finish this and heads off to the building where Lee Woo-jin has his office in. Lee Woo-jin meets him in the elevator and takes him to the penthouse. Odesu tells him that he slept with his own sister and he killed her because the rumor started spreading. Lee Woo-jin tells him that his sister's name was tarnished and everybody started bad-mouthing her behind her back and even started rumor that she was pregnant. Due to the pressure, she even stopped menstruating and getting weight, which more confirmed her status in front of other people. He blames Odesu for everything that happened, and more so because he does not even know and remember what he did, because he was like that from his young days. Lee Woo-jin reveals that the main question was not why he was held captive, but why he was released. He reveals that both Mido and Odesu were hypnotized to react the same way as they did on the first day they met. Him passing out, Mido taking him to her apartment, was all his plan. Then he reveals the crucial part of the story by showing him to a gift box, which had a family album of Odesu. The album reveals that Mido was actually Odesu's estranged daughter, which he wanted to find so badly. Odesu gets furious and starts charging on Mr. Han but gets beaten up by him instead. Lee Woo-jin kills Mr. Han by shooting him in his head. Lee Woo-jin says that Mido was raised by him since she was a child, and Mr. Park is not Oh Dae-soo's friend, as he was given a new building in exchange for his hand. Lee Woo-jin calls Mr. Park, who is in with Mido, with the same box in front of her. Oh Dae-soo begs her not to open the box no matter what happens and tells her that he is going to meet her very soon. Oh Dae-soo falls to his knees and begs Lee Woo-jin to let her not know all about him, as it's none of her fault. He licks his shoes and even offers to become his dog for rest of his life. Lee Woo-jin, on the other hand, enjoys this very much as he starts laughing at Oh Dae-soo. Oh Dae-soo, as a sign for his loyalty, even cuts off his tongue with a scissor and hands off to Lee Woo-jin. Lee Woo-jin calls off the opening of the box and leaves Oh Dae-soo in there and walks off into the elevator. While inside the elevator, he remembers how his sister died, and with this pain shoots himself inside the elevator as he promised Oh Dae-soo. The scene now cuts of Oh Dae-soo talking to the hypnotist, asking for help to erase his memory. The woman agrees and we see Oh Dae-soo waking up later on snow while Mido comforts him. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more amazing recaps.